Boston, summer 1920. A crowd swells outside a small office on School Street. They came to collect the fortunes he promised, 50% in 90 days. But the numbers never worked. To pay what he owed, Charles Ponzi needed 160 million postal coupons. Only about 27,000 existed on Earth. The math was a lie, and it was about to catch him. He was born Carlo Pietro Giovanni Guglielmo Tebaldo Ponzi in the town of Lugo, in the Kingdom of Italy, on the 3rd of March, 1882. A boy with a long name and grand ambitions. Italy could not hold him. Like millions in his generation, he turned his eyes across the Atlantic, toward America, where a man might reinvent himself entirely, or invent himself from nothing. Around 1903, Ponzi lands in the United States. He carries little but nerve. He drifts through odd jobs, learning the country's hungers, its faith in the quick dollar. English comes slowly, charm comes fast. He watches how money moves here, how trust is given and taken. Every con needs an education first. Ponzi was a patient student of the American dream. His schooling turned criminal. In Canada, between 1908 and 1911, Ponzi served 3 years on a forgery charge. Prison did not reform him, it refined him. He met better swindlers, studied sharper methods, learned how easily a signature could be worth a fortune. When he walked free, he was not a broken man. He was a rehearsed one, waiting for his stage. Back in Boston, the drifter tries respectability. In 1918, he marries Rose Necco, a grocer's daughter. She believes in him. For a time, he tries honest work and fails at it. The ordinary life chafes. Somewhere in these lean years, an idea reaches him through the mail. A small printed coupon redeemable for stamps abroad. Ponzi sees not postage, he sees a doorway. The international reply coupon. A traveler in one country could buy it, and a stranger in another could exchange it for stamps. Currencies had shifted after the Great War, bought cheap in Europe, redeemed dear in America. The coupon promised a legal profit. On paper, arbitrage. In theory, easy money. Ponzi did the arithmetic and saw a river of gold. He never stopped to measure the riverbed. December 1919. Ponzi opens the Securities Exchange Company in downtown Boston. He has almost nothing. He buys the office furniture on credit, hangs his shingle, and waits. His pitch is simple and irresistible. Bring him your money, he will multiply it through the coupons. The first small sums arrive. He pays the promised returns promptly. Word begins to move, quiet as a rumor, fast as fire. The offer was a fever. 50% return in 90 days. Later he sweetened it, 50% in 45. Put in $10, walk away with 15 before the season turned. No bank on earth paid such rates. That was precisely the point. Ponzi did not sell an investment. He sold a miracle, wrapped in the respectable language of finance, and Boston lined up to believe. His earliest believers were working people, immigrants like himself, laborers, shopkeepers, widows, who had never been let near real wealth. He spoke their languages, shook their hands, returned their money doubled. They told their brothers, their priests, their neighbors. Trust spread through tenements and parishes faster than any advertisement. The little people finally had a financier who looked like them, and who paid. By spring 1920, the trickle became a flood. Clerks and laborers handed over their savings. Some mortgaged their homes to buy in. The Securities Exchange Company outgrew its rooms. Clerks counted cash into hampers and wastebaskets because the drawers could not hold it. Every satisfied investor was living proof. Every payout bought 100 new believers. The machine now fed itself. Outside the office, the lines began before dawn. Men and women clutched bills and hope, pressing toward the door. Inside, Ponzi moved among them like a prince, immaculate in fine suits, promising all of them everything. Reporters called him a wizard. Crowds cheered him in the street. In months, an unknown clerk had become the most talked-about man in Boston. He believed it too. The money arrived faster than anyone could count. New deposits paid off the old promises, and each redeemed investor became a walking advertisement for the next. The books grew chaotic, tangled beyond reckoning. It no longer mattered. So long as more came in than went out, the illusion held perfectly. Ponzi had built a machine with only one rule: it could never, ever slow down. At its height, cash poured in at $250,000 a day. 250,000 in 1920 money. Ponzi's personal fortune was estimated above 15 million. He bought a fine house, a stake in a bank, imported suits. The immigrant with a forgery record now moved among Boston's elite, from nothing in under a year. It was, by any measure, astonishing. It was also impossible. He rode in a chauffeured car and lit cigarettes with a gold holder. He gave to charity, tipped like royalty, and smiled for every camera. To the crowds, he was proof that the game could be beaten. To himself, perhaps, he half believed the same. But beneath the mansion and the applause, no coupons were being bought. There was no engine, only the crowd. Here is how it truly worked. When a new investor handed over money, that money did not buy postal coupons. It went to pay the earlier investors their miraculous returns, rob the newcomer to reward the veteran. Peter paid by Paul forever. The scheme produced nothing, grew nothing, saved nothing. It merely moved other people's money in a circle, taking a fortune from the middle. The coupons were always the alibi. Yes, in theory, a profit existed, but to back the millions he had taken, Ponzi would have needed to buy and redeem coupons in numbers no postal system could supply. He never ran the trade at scale. He couldn't. The vaults held no coupons, only incoming cash spent as fast as it landed. The doorway led nowhere. Success invites scrutiny. Questions began to circle. How could one man out-earn the banks 50 times over, month after month, from little postal slips? Financial men called it nonsense. When a writer questioned his fortune aloud, Ponzi sued for libel, won a round, and dared them to prove him false. But doubt, once planted, grows like ivy. The most dangerous eyes in Boston now turned his way. The Boston Post went to work. Reporters chased the one question that mattered, not whether Ponzi was rich, but whether the coupons could possibly justify the money. They dug into postal records, they counted, and what they found unraveled everything. The arithmetic that Ponzi had waved away as a detail was, in truth, the whole story, and the story was catastrophic. The Post laid it bare. To cover the money invested with Ponzi, roughly 160 million international reply coupons would have to exist. In the entire world, there were about 27,000. Not millions. Thousands. The gap was not a shortfall, it was an abyss. The coupons had never mattered. The whole tower stood on nothing but the next man's deposit. The words landed like a struck match. Readers did the sum themselves and felt the floor tilt. If the coupons were a fiction, then their savings were only paper promises, payable out of someone else's savings. Faith, the one thing holding the scheme upright, began to crack. And a scheme like Ponzi's could survive anything except the one thing now coming: everyone wanting out at once. They came in their thousands. The same crowds that had cheered now surged against his door, demanding their money back. Panic rippled through the streets of Boston. Ponzi, still smiling, paid out what he could, hoping calm would return. It did not. Each refund emptied the vaults he could not refill. The machine's only rule had been broken. More was going out than coming in. Late July 1920. The auditors moved in, the newspapers howled, the state watched his books bleed. Every dollar paid to a frightened investor was a dollar that could never pay the next. The circle was collapsing inward. Ponzi kept up the performance to the end, charming, confident, promising all would be well, but the numbers had finally caught the man who had ignored them. On the 12th of August, 1920, it ended. Federal agents arrested Charles Ponzi and charged him with 86 counts of mail fraud. The wizard of School Street was led away in the fine suit he could no longer afford. Behind him, he left ruined savings, shuttered banks, and a multitude who had trusted the man who paid like magic. The show was over. He pleaded guilty. He owed, by one estimate, some $7 million. Across the whole scheme, figures ran as high as 20 million taken. He served years in federal prison, then years more on state charges, before deportation to Italy in 1934. He tried new schemes abroad. None caught. the most famous swindler in America, shrank slowly back into an ordinary, desperate man. On the 18th of January, 1949, Charles Ponzi died in Rio de Janeiro, penniless, in a hospital ward for the poor. He left behind a word, his own name, stamped on every fraud built the same way. The victims never got whole. Numbers do not forgive. Next, 1907, a panic sweeps Wall Street, and one banker locks his rivals inside his library until they rescue the system. The ledger always balances. Eventually,